So, for me, I feel like what is beautiful about this practice is that you can make it what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not afraid to say that sometimes ambition and motivation is probably what you want as well. Maybe if you're a bit depressed, that motivation and that ambition and the drive, when done in a structured way, not to the point of insanity
and we call it discipline.
Disciplined motivation. So you're then getting that hit of dopamine. And also some women suffer with depression. So if you're depressed, if you give yourself a goal, my goal today is just do 2 or 3 poses in a beautiful, proper way. And if you achieve that, you feel really good about yourself, so that it's giving you that boost of motivation. However, if you're feeling burnt out and anxious, then probably pushing yourself is not what your nervous system needs. What you need is coming back to a parasympathetic, more flow state. Because when you practice with that state of flow, energetic, and I know that's how you practice because I watched you practice, and I find it very beautiful. When you practice with that flow state and just connecting breath to movement, not using too much muscular tension, but more in a kind of fluid, water-like element that can support you, and makes you more calm rather than giving you that element of heat, which is very pitta. And maybe if you have anxiety, then practicing in that way, in a very fluid flow state, could be what your body needs, your nervous system. So this to me is what is really beautiful about this practice, because it can be done heated up to the maximum heat, if that's what you need, and it can be done in a way which is very calming and soft and feminine, if that's what you need. And I feel like that's the beauty of this practice. So you can do it in the way that you want, and that can be different every single day, and this is why, even though there's a lot of judgment around this practice of late, I personally feel this is the beauty of this practice.
I would say that is actually one of the other things I teach, which is how to be more feminine, how to be more yin in the Ashtanga practice, because it is a very young practice. It's very yang driven, strength and power, and then there's that little bit of femininity which is more flexibility and the fluidity, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel that the practice really allows us to find the balance between the two if we want to, and that's connected to the breath.
For sure.
So when you can achieve that smooth breathing, that non-forced, non-violent, then I think you are touching on the feminine, nourishing, calming, and it just moves through us.
Yeah,
right? Sure. And like you say, I mean, we have the sun and the moon and, all the influences of whatever, or we had a strong coffee in the morning, whatever it is, then go for it. But yeah, always find the dance between the masculine and the feminine energy as it shows up. And maybe in the beginning it's very feminine, and then it becomes very masculine.
That's how it was for me. And that is how it was for me. When I started, the practice was all about, because I started the practice from a space of healing, and I was big time into pranic healing at that point. So I was very influenced by the book Autobiography of a Yogi. So when I was practicing, I would always feel like prana. And for me, that's what yoga was. Asana practice was this flow of prana. And that was the Indian way. I mean, that was the Indian way. And then I got introduced to Ashtanga, and then I started getting competitive. And I was like, I don't want to be left in this race behind just by being soft and feminine. Then I got into technique, pushing myself pretty hard. And I think I pushed myself sometimes a little bit over the edge. And now I'm trying to find the middle path. I'm trying to find the middle path, because I remember when I used to have this softness, I used to have the most amount of bliss, even though I maybe was not achieving all those incredible poses. Then I had the masculine, I had probably the best practice that I could have, but I was not able to find stillness. And I was like, what happened to that moment of joy I used to feel when I used to finish, or that bliss? And so now I want to find, I mean, not want to, I'm trying to find the middle path in between those two.
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, good to listen to where you're at. And sometimes for me personally, if I have a lot going on in my head and I'm like preoccupied, right, then it can actually help me quite a bit to have a more masculine practice, get that energy out, like get it out, flush it out, right? Because if I go into the slow, flowy, then it's like when you're like pumping it, like get that energy out. So it's tune in. I mean, like I usually say, you're your own doctor, you're your own physician. You check in every morning. What's happening today? What's going on upstairs, downstairs? What's happening? And where do I level it out as much as that is possible? Or maybe it's not possible, and that's fine too. Maybe tomorrow or whenever. But it's a process, and just needing it for where it is, not where we want it to be.